pocket party.
And we're back. Hey, everybody. It's your host, Darren Carter, the party starter. I want to thank you guys so much for checking out the Pocket Party podcast again. And if it's your first time, welcome aboard. Today, my guest is frequent guest on the Pocket Party podcast, Mr. Mike Black. Mike Black.
Mike Black, yes.
you have to say your name in a certain, it just has that crunch to it, you know. Mike Black. One syllable coming at you, Mike Black.
Did you ever think maybe go by Darkar?
It's Dark. Hi, I'm Darren Carter, but I'm more well known as Darkar. Ooh, I like that.
Darkar, after like COVID wipes everything out and everyone goes Mad Max, and we get you some spiked shoulder pads and a mohawk. You'll Lord Darkar.
Yeah, because right now I'm going more for the comedic, Darren Carter, the party starter.
Right now you're a lot of fun, but once we're all wearing like squirrels and stuff, you know. What do you drive?
I drive a Honda.
Yeah, you're not going to last a long time unless you change your name to Darkar.
Yeah, 4-door family car Honda.
Yeah, that's Lord Darkar. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, I know. I'm Lord Darkar. That's funny because Russell Peters likes to shorten my name instead of Darren Carter, the party starter. He goes, "Hey, what's up, DC the PS?"
I don't think that would work either.
Yeah,
DCPS.
Yeah, Dark Car sounds really cool. It almost has, because it kind of sounds like dark. It's going to be a dark winter. It's Dark Car.
It sounds almost like Dark Heart.
I feel like,
pretty cool.
Because you're really good at this. I almost want to ask you: is it Mike Black your show business name or your real name? Like
I would never tell you.
Mike Black.
No, I would not have gone into the comedy business in the late 90s, early 2000s, as a fat, funny guy and chosen the last name Black. There's a lot of competition already,
Yeah.
There was already like Jack Black, who was enormously famous when I was just getting into the business. So it would be tactically not the smartest move to have made. No, it's a family name from forever.
Have you ever thought of using your middle name or maybe like your mother's maiden name or some other name in the family where you're like, maybe I could just try this,
Well, my mother's maiden name is Sanchez, and I don't speak Spanish, so that would get me a whole lot of good.
Yeah, it might get you in the door because people are like, this could be interesting, and then they're like,
it's one of those things where it was like it would actually make you look faker.
Yeah,
like more disingenuous. And I was like, if I don't speak Spanish and I'm like, hey, but I'm Mike Sanchez, shouldn't I be getting all these other parts and stuff?
I'm trying to glom onto a trend. No, but I was really Hispanic before. I mean, Latino, I'm Latinx. Oh, crap.
Right. And it's like, I didn't want to seem like that. And I'm not like that. I don't want to like be going after shit that I shouldn't get, and, So there was that, and then my middle name is Anthony. So, and there's already a Michael Anthony
Van
Halen. So it was like, I just didn't have a lot of choices. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just go with what I've been called my whole life, Mike Black.
Mike Black. It's a good name, man, Mike Black.
And it fits me, I think. I feel like my name, it's one of those people that even people that know you really well call you by your entire name.
Yeah, you're right. Even my son, when he refers to you from the podcast, little AusTheBassBoss.
AusTheBassBoss.
He's like, hey, is Mike Black coming back on? Is Mike Black? How was Mike Black's Christmas? Ask him some questions. Mike Black. It's like, they want to say your whole name,
I think that actually comes from Charlie Brown.
Does it?
That there are certain names that, like, they just don't sound right. Like, you wouldn't call it Charlie's Christmas.
That's true. Yeah.
You call it a Charlie Brown Christmas. It for some people it just fits to have the whole name there.
But I like that Dark Car. Darkar.
Darkar, the Par Star.
The Par Star. That's funny. That kind of reminds me of doing the half words. Is like, whenever my son would have like a 6-month birthday, we're like, hey, it's your half birthday. So we'd go, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. Just kind of do it. Speaking of names, I want to do a real quick shout out to a few folks. I want to give a shout out to, I had a nice donation come in from Peanut de Leon. Thank you, Peanut de Leon. I want to thank always, by the way, I can't stress this enough. Every time we get interaction on the YouTube channel for the podcast or any of the videos, it helps. So thank you guys so much for thumbs upping, for commenting, for sharing. And a few of the standout comments that we received recently, I just want to give a real quick shout out to Peanut de Leon, Wilfred Matos, 100% Canadian maple stirrup, Drew Hillman, Mary Roner from Oregon, Dave Soto, Ottawa Talks, Troll Slayer Inc., and many, many more. But thank you guys. Those are the ones that are like the top commenters. I just really wanted to give a shout out this week. And if you want to make the list, comment and you will get on that list.
Comments are free, and that's a great way to help a podcast out if you don't have a lot of money. It really helps them out in the YouTube setup to get it seen by more people and stuff.
It's wild how it's, people attract people. If you see like 10 people standing in line for a restaurant, you might be like, oh, I wonder what's going on over there. And if you saw 30 people, you'd be like, whoa, I really got to check. And if you see an empty restaurant, you're like, so it's like,
it's funny how even like, oddly enough, it's the emptiest restaurants. I find that you often get the worst service.
Right.
They don't bother coming around to check on you, because you're the only person there. What do they care?
Right, exactly. That's what they always say. If you want to get an errand done, give it to somebody who's busy, because they'll make time in their busy schedule to, okay, and in between, 12 and 12:10, I'll go do that. I'll drop off the laundry for you. And, that as opposed to someone who's, in those days when I
had never heard that before, but that sounds true to me.
It's totally true. I remember before I was married, and before the internet, I was just a young comic with all day. You're young. You don't really have. Your only goal is to perform that night. And I just remember like a big deal that day would be like, well, I went to the post office. Like that was my big errand that day.
I did a thing today.
Yeah. And then as time goes on, you're like, okay, now you start adding in more stuff, and hey, where should we start? Let's start with, first of all, I want to thank you. I got that cool holiday Christmas party show, and you and I had talked, and I said, hey, you want to tag along and you want to do some time? And dude, it was, man, let's tell the people about it. You want to start?
Sure. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. The name of the company escapes me.
I know,
but they were really, really cool people. They had us use, I think it was a karaoke microphone, but it was still fun and it worked.
They're really, it was in a really nice part of Los Angeles called Simi Valley, and I believe they own 5 stores. And I don't remember the name of it because it was like initials or something, but they sell CBD oil and lotions and whatnot. But and it was like I'd have to find out the name. If you're listening, if you're at that party, please leave in the comments the name. And they were just the nicest folks.
Yeah, I think we can find it and put a link in the description or something.
Yeah, yep. They
But yeah, they were really great. They had the friendliest dog, and it was not attacking me while I was doing stand up, but it wanted to be part of things.
Yeah, we want. And
everyone was just trying so hard. They were like, "Oh, please don't," and I was like, "Oh, I don't care that the dog's up there," but but they were really sweet about it, and they gave us some amazing food, some really nice gifts afterwards.
It was cool. It looked like a Hallmark movie, man. We pulled into that neighborhood and I was like, whoa, and then the giant house with all the lights and the multiple Christmas trees and I think when I was on stage I made a joke about it. I go, man, you guys like have a Christmas tree in every room, and somebody was like, yeah, we have 24, like one for every day at Christmas or something. But yeah, kudos to you, man, like performing, because that dog made me nervous, man. I knew it looked friendly. It looked very friendly, but it was still it was like one of those German Shepherd like police dogs. It was like this big.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's about half your size,
Totally, and it just came running through, and you could tell it by the way it was wagging, and it was all friendly. But I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still a German Shepherd, and you're up there
even friendly things can kill you.
Exactly,
like, on accident.
And the dog's name was Bear. Don't forget that. The dog's name was Bear. See, that's the thing. I don't remember the name of the company, but I remember that dog, Bear.
Yeah,
it was like
that's how fear works.
That's how fear works. Yeah. And so I asked her, I said, hey, we'll, I'd love to do a comedy show. And then I asked her that day, I said, hey, I might bring a special guest friend along. And she's like, absolutely. So when we get there, I said, but the only thing I said, if we can let's get like a karaoke machine, something that has a speaker. And she had one, but they didn't know how it wouldn't connect to like the Bluetooth. It wouldn't work. And so
they my first Sony microphone was your idea, not theirs.
Yeah. So that karaoke didn't work, but their backup system was like a Barbie doll microphone, like Barbie can sing or whatever. And it was more for looks, although it did get off a little bit of an echo to it, like a little reverb. And but it was all like a self-contained little phony play toy thing. But I was like, as long as it helps, as long as I can do something on it, because
sure,
I like to hit him with the sound effects. And if I do the motorcycle, if I do it without a mic, it just sounds like an angry cricket or something.
Right.
It doesn't quite. But
it sounds like the guy from Police Academy is dying.
Exactly.
If you do it without.
Hey, look, it's a non-union Michael Winslow over there. I'm just in the corner of beep boop beep beep boop boop boop.
Yeah. Oh, he's losing his power.
Yeah, no one's really impressed. No one's clapping, but it was great, man. They had a wild spread of like food on that kitchen island, and there was when they were like ready to do the comedy show. And the funny part was she's like, I want to make this a surprise for my employees, and so they were all eyeballing us like, who are these two guys? Are they strippers? What's going on here? Like, what is happening? And then
are they going to shut us down? Is that
exactly? Are they undercover cops? Oh yeah. And then somebody thought you were there, like, hey, are you the manager of the new store?
Yeah, I just said yes, I am.
Oh yeah, we were opening up a wing up in Bakersfield, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And then you grabbed the toy mic when they were ready to start, and dude, you got everyone's attention, got them laughing right away. I posted some photos of it on Instagram. It's dude, man, how'd it feel? It looked really good, right?
It felt really good. I mean, I always find it really weird doing stand-up with a lot of light on, like the whole place was lit still, and that's always just a little bit awkward. But they were in such a good mood, and they were, they'd had a few drinks already and everything, that it wasn't long before it was just like doing stand-up anywhere else. But they were really nice, and they were really receptive,
Oh yeah, can you imagine being heckled in someone's living room like you're gay?
Well, you don't even have to have that. Just all it takes is like, especially in a well-lit room, is one or two people to fold their arms or think they're secretly checking their cell phone or whatever, to take about half the audience out of it. Mm-hmm. And nobody did that. They gave us their full attention, and they were really, really great.
Yeah, when the dog came through on your set, I was like, oh, this could be the moment where it gets weird. But then they're like, Bear, come on, Bear, Bear, Bear. Then they removed him, and I was like, yes, thank you, please, thank you. Like I did not want to. I didn't want him like licking.
Yeah, they could have been just like, oh, just let him stay there, or even worse, had a fight about what to do with him.
Oh gosh, or he could have
let him stay. No, he needs to go. No, let him stay.
Or what if the dog relieves himself during your set, and you're like,
oh God, yeah,
talk about a distraction. And that's what Steve Martin says. He says it's funny you bring up the light. In that book, Born Standing Up, he wrote, distraction is the enemy of comedy. And I always think about that whenever you perform in a place that has too many, like, televisions on, and they're like, the sound is down, but I'm like, it's distraction.
Yeah, it's anytime anyone's trying to tell a joke, that's part of why they pull people away from everyone else, is to do that. Because once you screw up that rhythm, it's almost impossible to get it back. At least on that joke. You can move on and tell another joke.
Right.
But once you've broken the rhythm, it almost doesn't matter how good the joke is. It's the same as if they've heard it before. The reaction you're going to get when it's done is,
I know. Oh, I know. Afterwards, we went to Bob's Big Boy, and that was great, man, because we got there. It was actually open this time. We didn't have to make second plans. I wasn't like, oh, boy, let's find another. And then we end up at Del Taco drive-thru. It wasn't...
we didn't have to fight them or anything.
No, Bob's is really cool. You told me a story. Do you recall what it was? It was really good. It was a story about you were illustrating something. Oh, that's what it was. It was the talking dog. And the way that came about was on a previous episode. We were talking about tamales and Christmas and December. And then we were like, oh my gosh, like there's tamales in a can. And I posted the photo and I asked people, what's your favorite food that comes in a can? And it was interesting. Some people said chili. Other people said, Vienna sausages. Other people said beans. When I said, what is your favorite food that comes in a can? I thought this was cool. My son said Pringles, which I didn't even think of Pringles. I thought of like, stuff you'd see in the cabinet, like something, bring a can, get in free to this event. Usually it's like green beans or corn, but Pringles. And so I kind of, that night at the show in the house, I said, oh, let me use this as a riff, like, what's your favorite food that comes in a can? And people would say something. And I didn't really have anything funny about it. The only thing I had really kind of funny, I should say, was the Pringles line, because it's not your typical train of thought. And then you were like, you know what, the thing that, do you remember what you told me about how there's like a, something, there's interesting, and then there's interesting with like a punchline at the end.
Oh yeah, it's the difference between something being funny and not funny.
Yeah, I like that. I like that illustration.
Is that that comics get tripped up on a lot, I think, which is that there are a lot of things that are thought-provoking.
That's the word,
a lot of things that are very, very interesting, but they're not necessarily funny. And funny has a lot to do with details and with, really adding unexpected elements, because thought-provoking stuff is really just crystallizing something that most people were thinking. But when you add an unexpected element to it, it makes it funny. Like the joke that I used to illustrate it was the one of, it's a really old joke, but I think someone on, I don't recall who, but someone on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee told it. And the way they told it was great. And the idea of the joke is that it's a guy's walking along and he sees a man and a dog, and the man's holding a sign that says "Talking Dog, $5." And so he goes, "This is a talking dog for $5." And the guy goes, "Not only that, the dog wrote this sign. He hand painted it.
Yeah.
He made the ink himself to paint the, not only that, he's written 4 books. He's been published under 6 different publishers, 12 magazines. Most of his books have been rewritten in Spanish and Italian, and bestsellers in every country. He helped, he continues to strive for peace in the Middle East. He helped the British return power to Chinese rule in China when that happened. He's our ambassador in numerous areas. He teaches karate in his spare time to needy children. He's volunteers for self-defense classes. He works at soup kitchens, on and on
That's
and on.
hilarious.
And, and he goes, he's done a bunch of great stuff. And he goes, but look, he's $5. He's a tremendous dog, as you can tell. I have to go make a phone call. If you'll excuse me, I'll be right back. And so the guy goes off, leaves him there with the dog. And this is a grown man. He's like, I don't buy any of that. That's ridiculous. But he's just there, and it's just him and the dog looking at each other. And he looks at the dog. Dog looks back at him. Finally, curiosity gets the better of him. He can't help himself. So are you really a talking dog? The dog looks back at him, dead in the eye, and replies, yeah, but I didn't do any of that other shit. Now, the difference between what makes that funny and what makes it interesting is that the interesting version is the dog just replies, yes, I am. Oh, that's interesting. How thought-provoking.
Right.
That dog's led an interesting life.
Yeah.
But what makes it funny is that the dog didn't want to brag, and he didn't do any of that other shit.
Yeah. That's good. And that's a fun joke to tell because you could add all kinds of stuff. Like he took Taekwondo, and then from Taekwondo he got into...
I believe, honestly, that most jokes that like we grew up on as actual like setup and punchline jokes, not observations.
Like three guys walk into a bar, those kind of jokes.
Most of those kind of jokes are like that, and the better a storyteller you are, the more funny a joke can be by adding those little details into it.
Right.
It just makes the payoff greater. And if you're a comedian, it's a really good idea to know a few of those old jokes, and every time you tell them, use it as an opportunity to practice. And try and make it your own. Try and make it your best version of that joke.
Where you can improvise in the middle of it and the side of it, and then all of a sudden, ta-da!
Yeah. Well, you look at like The Aristocrats. Did you ever see that movie?
I did, yes.
With all the different comics telling their version of The Aristocrats. In my mind, it's a terrible joke, and it's not really worth a whole movie.
Right.
But it illustrates a point very, very clearly about that, about like how each of them kind of had their own version of it and made it their own. And one of my favorite things was Drew Carey. I don't know who tells him the joke in the story, but they do when they get to saying the name, when, it's a great act, but what do you guys call yourselves? They do like a Latin dancer where they do snaps with their fingers and one of them over their head, like kind of like a bullfighter, and they go, the Aristocrats, And Drew Carey loved that because it had never occurred to him, and so he did it when he responded. And I thought, that's great, because most comics, almost all of us, would not mess with the punchline at all. We would improvise all the rest in the middle and in the setup and everything. But some guy added that to the delivery, and it does make it just so much better to have them, the Aristocrats.
It really does. We have a bigger audience now. Would you want to tell the Hark I Hear a Cannon Roar story? I love that story.
Oh, no. I've told it once already.
Okay.
And then for your other, the rest of the audience that's been loyal, they'd have to sit through it again. You know what?
You're right. Guys, go to YouTube, go to Darren Carter, look up Darren Carter, Mike Black, Hark I Hear a Cannon Roar, and you'll find it.
Yeah, it's a really fun story, and it fits right in with that sort of thing.
That sort of thing. You're right. I got to ask you, how was your, by the way, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Jordan the Lion. Jordan the Lion. Thank you so much, man. We did a podcast together. He's a loyal listener. He's awesome. I love his YouTube channel, guys. Go check out Jordan. It's called Days with Jordan the Lion. He goes on all these wonderful adventures, and they're just great, man. He's great.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. And in fact, for Jordan's sake, have I told the farmer and the jack story?
No. What's up, guys? How you like the show so far? Pretty good, right? Kind of weird that I'm out here in the country with the chair next to me, but anyways, if you like the show and you want to help out, go to CAMEO. I do birthday shout-outs, anniversary shout-outs, or if you just want to do a donation, go to DarrenCarter.com, PayPal, or Venmo at Darren Carter Comic. Now let's get back to the show. No, I haven't. I'd love to hear that one.
All right. This guy is driving through Nebraska, and he's trying to get from Colorado to Vegas to see his parents. And you have to go through Nebraska, and it's a good stretch on the way, you know.
Yeah.
And it's late at night. He doesn't need to stop, you know. He's cooking at a good speed. And sure enough, one of his tires blasts out, and he kind of skids off the road. And he looks at the damage. It doesn't look too bad. He has a spare tire. He has all the tools he needs. But his jack is it's the one that came with the car. You have to slowly crank it. He's like, I'll be here all night with that old thing. And he sees behind him there's a fence and a field and a farmhouse with a light on in the distance. It's about a mile away. And he's like, well, farmers have all sorts of farming equipment that they have to deal with. I bet he has one of those electric jacks that could do it real quick. And then I'm back on the road. I'll give him $20, for his time. And he starts walking along the side of the fence. And he notices, a no trespassing sign. And he goes, wow, they're kind of big on security here.
Mm.
It is late at night. He might answer the door with a shotgun. He might not even answer the door. He might shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
And what if he's got one of those beautiful farmer's daughters?
Oh, yeah.
And I notice her. And he notices me noticing her. And then he shoots me then. It's like, I can't have that. I'm only human. I'm going to look. A guy can't help but look, and that wouldn't be good. Or what if he's just an angry old farmer and he comes out, I'm not, giving you the jack to just take with you. I'm coming with you. And makes me change my tire while he's holding the shotgun to my head or something. That'd be horrible. And what if he misfires? He could kill me. Those things have hair triggers. And so he gets to the door and he's just sweating bullets at this point. And he rings the doorbell. The old farmer opens the door and smiles. Hello, can I help you? And he goes, yeah, you can take that jack and shove it up your ass, you crazy old psycho.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, he's all wound up.
Yeah.
And that's funny, man. As you said that one phrase, I thought, hey, there's a dumb joke I could say. I'm so bald, even my gun doesn't have a hair trigger. That is wild, Ed. Kabang.
That is a great joke. Oh, great one.
Yeah. I got this Christmas gift that somebody gave me, and it's called Birds of Central and Northern California, a guide to common and notable species. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna find something. I'm gonna. There's got to be something for the podcast. Because I don't know if I've ever needed or wanted a laminated bird guide. But hey, listen, it's a gift, and I'm happy to have it.
Can you just flip through to a page and just tell us about a bird?
Oh, I sure can. In fact, I circled some because they kind of actually sound like Now, these would be like colorful ways of telling somebody off by calling
Yeah.
them these different birds. Like, look here, you old grimy looking oak titmouse. There's one bird called the oak titmouse. Here's another one. You ash-throated flycatcher. Well, I don't know about you, but to me, she's a pygmy nuthatch.
Wow.
You red-breasted nuthatch. You dark-eyed. Well, here's another one. You dark-eyed Oregon junco. Oh, God.
That sounds like me.
Yeah, in fact, the word
Dark-eyed Oregon junco.
Yeah, the dark-eyed Oregon junco. The word Oregon is in quotes, so maybe I don't know why. Here's the little bit about the dark-eyed Oregon junco. It's seasonally widespread. Its dark hood has a pale bill, a brown back. But that's another thing. I need reading glasses. I'm having a hard time squinting at these words. A white outer tail, feathers in flights. It flies all year. Mostly coasts and mountains.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Here's another one. It's I think I circled a few others where I'm like, oh, you red-breasted sapsucker.
Yeah. I dated her.
Yeah, and the rest are just regular names of birds. But yeah, for some reason I was like, those kind of sound like insults, But
yeah, that's great.
I also got a pair of, and I didn't think I would need them when I first saw them. A pair of binoculars, like these, like high-tech binoculars that really zoom in. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, it's nice, but I have a camera that zooms in on my phone. Like, I don't really, but I actually used it this morning, and what it does, it has depth of field, where you could focus in on an object, so it's super clear, and then everything behind it is out of focus, almost like you're in some National Geographic photograph or something. But I'm up at the farm right now, up in about 3 hours north of LA. So I was looking at a bunch of cats out out near the barn. I know, dude, this is what my life is. It's like staring at staring at cats through binoculars. That's the clean version. Yes, I am looking at, you get it, pussycats through binoculars. But,
right. Yeah. Anyone who's still lost shouldn't be operating a podcast selecting system.
Exactly. Yeah. But I don't know, it's kind of cool. When's the last time you looked through a pair of binoculars?
God, probably the mid-90s, going to see, I think, Phantom of the Opera in Colorado.
Yeah?
They had, we were sitting up in what they call the nosebleeds, of the theater, which is way up high in the back, and where it gets its name, but
especially in Colorado, you really are high up there.
Right, and so they rented binoculars to us for $5, which we thought was outrageous at the time.
You're like, these are rentals, and at the end of the concert, we all got pink eye.
Yeah,
from putting these strange things against our eyes. But
and it was to watch Phantom of the Opera and be able to see what the little dots were doing.
Yeah, that was cool though, right? Did you figure it out? Like, you figured out how to get the right focus and everything?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to it, Darren. I was able to figure out binoculars. Yeah.
Yeah. See, maybe because I have like vision problems.
Thank you for having faith in me.
You figured it out, because it took me about 5 minutes to get a good figure out these binoculars. Like my left eye was clear, but my right eye wasn't clear. Then I kept blinking, and it kept making the right one every time I'd blink but then I realized you got to twist the part that goes up against your eye. If I twist it counterclockwise, it will protrude further, so my eye doesn't cover the lens. And I also, you just gotta, once I figured it out, I was like, this is pretty damn cool. I remember one year when, back in the 90s, my mother-in-law had given us, for my birthday, she gave me she used to give me gift cards to Big Five Sporting Goods. And, I remember like the first couple times I would get like shoes, a tennis ball, something that you really, and then it got to the point where I started stacking up the gift cards, and I'm like, well, gosh, I got everything I need. Like, and it was kind of fun. It was like being a kid in a candy store. I'm like, well, I got this, let's just say $200 worth of gift cards, and I have to use it. Otherwise, I think it expired or something. I forget, but I ended up buying these really powerful binoculars, but they were this is back in the 90s, so they were long and they were heavy and they were, like these now they're compact. It's very compact, but back then they were heavy, and it was really cool. I remember going to a concert and it was great for about 10 minutes, but then they were very heavy, and it was like holding up a small television just to see Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay, I see you, Steven Tyler, but it's not worth it. My arms are heavy.
Yeah, it used to be all binoculars were the same, and they were all these gigantic safari binoculars.
Yep.
The part of what they were making wasn't just the function of the binocular, but the form of it was so that, if a lion whacked it out of your hand, it would still work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were all pretty hefty,
It doubles as a baseball bat.
Use it to bludgeon a jackal if it tried to kill you or
exactly.
something.
Yeah. Totally. You could jack up your car with it. Speaking of jacks.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a multi-tool, but
yeah. A lot of things in the from the mid 1800s to the 1950s were built half as a weapon and half as whatever it was supposed to be.
I know. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. But I remember taking the big binoculars on a flight with me once from L.A. to Sacramento, and because I grew up in Fresno, and I thought, well, we're going to be flying over Fresno. I wonder what would happen if I sat on the window seat and I looked out the window, and because I knew where my grandpa lived, sort of near the airport. Dude, long story short, I was actually able to see his neighborhood. It was pretty cool from a commercial airline, because I knew where the winery was. There's these giant white tanks, and then there's a canal, and so I followed the canal, and then I know his street was like a curved street, and and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, there's the airport, there's the white winery tanks, there's the canal. Oh my gosh, it's right there. And I know he lived in the middle of the block, so I'm like, he's probably like that's his house, like right there. Like it was, but you got to do it really fast, because I think I read somewhere like an airplane travels at like every 6 seconds they've gone a mile, so you got to be quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every 6 seconds. Yeah. I know you can see the Sunset Strip as you're coming into LAX. Pretty clearly, depending on the altitude you're at, but usually you can see that pretty clearly. And it never occurred to me to look for the Comedy Store or any of those places, but I should have.
Oh yeah, because you would kind of know like how the road curves, because there's that curve on Sunset.
Yeah, you'd be able to see it, but you're pretty much just seeing the roof, though, and like a bunch of Frisbees and stuff,
Everything on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would look really, it might look kind of funny wearing, using binoculars to look out the plane in LA, like, what's this guy doing? Well, there's a strip club down there. I want to see if they're changing outfits on the roof.
Yeah, because they're known for that.
Yeah. I did see them, actually. I did see some strippers change clothes outside of a club once, but there was a gate.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought, well, we're behind the gate, no one's really looking, and but they didn't get nude. They just sort of changed their little outfits or whatever. But
that is a weird choice.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why they did that, but it was on Sunset. It was more toward the other way, like Sunset and like La Brea.
Oh, okay. So probably Crazy Girls.
Yeah, one of those type of. I was eating it at like a Brazilian restaurant. I think it's Brazilian. I went with Jay Davis.
Yeah, it's either Crazy Girls or Seventh Veil.
Seventh Veil. That's it. Seventh Veil.
Yeah.
It was that
That's
one.
a weird place to change on the roof.
How was your Christmas?
Very good. I mostly just watched movies and stuff. I spent it out here and went to sees Spider-Man No Way Home, and I was going to see Die Hard, but the place that they were going to show it had closed because someone got COVID. So I was like, well, I'll just go see Spider-Man. And went to Genghis Cohen to eat with a friend of mine, and the food there is really, really good Chinese food. And,
wow!
So that was fun to do.
I got to check that place out. Where is that, Genghis?
It's on Fairfax, just north of Melrose.
Oh, sweet! Is it? What kind of Chinese restaurant is it?
That kind. It's a Chinese restaurant.
I mean, is it like one of those all-you-can-eat types, or is it?
No. You sit down and have a meal.
Genghis Cohen. Wow, I got to go there. I'll go there with you if you want. What do you like to order?
My favorite thing there is the sweet and sour chicken. That's really good. But a lot of their appetizers are fun. They have like really good dumplings and gyoza, and they do egg rolls, but to me they're too big. They're these gigantic egg rolls, but they also do mini egg rolls that are fantastic.
Oh man, that sounds good. I have not had good Chinese food in a long time. The last Chinese, it sounds great.
Yeah, and the pot stickers that they do are
love pot stickers.
They let you choose, which I really like, between fried or steamed. And I like both, but I prefer the fried ones. And they're really, really good.
Man, that's great.
And they always have good service. I had called too early in the day to ask for a reservation, and they were like, "Oh, just come by tonight." And I was like, "I know how that's going to go." And sure enough, I came by and it was just jam packed. And I was like, "I tried to call earlier for a reservation, but you guys weren't taking them yet." And the guy goes, "Well, let me look," and he ran and found a table for us right away.
Oh, cool! Was it was that Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
Yeah, that was Christmas Eve.
Did you happen to get a fortune cookie, and do you happen to know what it said?
I did get a fortune cookie. If I can recall what it said, it was something along the lines of "Your strength of character will be fruitful in the coming year."
Nice.
Which I don't know if that fortune cooker doesn't know me very well. But
Isn't that fun when you get like a good fortune cookie and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna save this one. I'm gonna tape it to the refrigerator. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna believe it.
I'm not into goofy crap like you, Darren. I just kind of throw them away and pay the bill, and
exactly
what I've done.
I know.
I just go, "Oh, that was a amusing little thing to read." Now how many times does 20% go into this number?
It's hilarious, man. We watched a movie. It was really good, man. Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase.
That's a good movie. Very good movie.
That's a good movie. It's it's funny. It's the first time I think that I've seen it in its entirety. Even then I missed the first 15 minutes, so we taped it, and then the next day I got to watch the first 15 minutes to see how it started, because I was telling my family, I go, "That's so cool. They shot that entire movie, and if you think about it, they never even left the house. Like it was a big." And my wife goes, "Oh, you missed the first 15 when they went to go get the Christmas tree." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" So yeah. Hey,
oh God, and him with that department store girl.
Oh, dude, hilarious!
Cracks me up.
Oh yeah, it's so funny, right? Because she's dressed all sexy, and he's like, she's like, "Can I help you?" And he's like, "I'm just browsing."
Yeah. What's the one like? It's a bit nipply in here,
nippy. Yeah, he's so good. I love, man. That movie was just wow.
He just nailed it in that movie. That Beverly D'Angelo is so good too in her role, like being kind of like the calm at the center of the storm that he is.
Yeah.
And but that part, I got to see it like a couple of years back, and they interviewed both of them afterwards, and it was a lot of fun. But a scene that I had completely forgotten about is when the cops have them freeze.
Oh, yeah.
And she's got her hand on his crotch. and she just kind of moves it to shake hands with someone, and then immediately puts it back on his crotch. She's just terrific in those. But when he finally loses it, and they did that in the first Vacation too. I don't know about European Vacation, but when he finally loses it and starts telling off his boss, it's some of the funniest cussing and just the funniest stream of consciousness sort of ranting.
Do you remember any of the lines that he said or what he said? I read something recently. They said that it was, I guess he had each cast member, they held up like a key word and he would riff on it and ramp and like, you know, he improvised it.
Well, I remember at one point him saying this is going to be the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap dance with Danny fucking Kaye.
Oh yeah, see, we watched the clean version. I didn't even know he said that. That's hilarious.
Oh God! Oh, why would you watch the clean version of that movie? That's
I don't know.
Such a good...
It came on like AMC or whatever.
Boo! Watch it. Go on Amazon or whatever and get the regular.
I think we have it. I remember buying like a 4-pack one year. I don't know, but yeah, I'll look for it.
At the end, he talks about his boss and he goes, "I'm gonna tell him what a brain dead sack of monkey shit he is."
Yeah.
And I was like, what a fantastic line that is.
Hey, and then I realized about 10 seconds in when I saw the boss, I'm like, that guy looks like Bill Murray. Then I realized that's
Brian Doyle Murray, his brother.
It's so cool.
Who got him into doing sketch comedy and stuff. Wow. And co-wrote a movie that didn't really go anywhere about golf called Caddyshack.
Really? I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote it with Harold Ramis and the departed great legendary writer Harold Ramis. And and they worked on a bunch of other stuff together. And he's in most of Bill Murray's movies. He played his dad in Scrooged, which was a big holiday movie. And all of his brothers made cameos in it because they wanted it to have kind of a family deal. And they, in the original story of Christmas Carol, he goes to visit his family and they don't see him there. They just talk about him and why he didn't show up. And so Richard Donner got his actual brothers to play the family. And it just added so much to it to have people that look like him talking about, and there's a great little moment in there that one of his brothers has where his wife says, you send him invitations every year and he never shows up. When are you going to give up? And he goes, never. He's my brother. And it's such a powerful little moment in the movie. And it just comes across so much more because it's actual family having this discussion,
That's sweet. I'm telling you, when I watched Christmas Vacation, I'm laughing, I'm loving it because I see, and I'm also looking at it now. I guess at the age I'm at, I'm seeing it from the dad's perspective, Chevy Chase's perspective, where I'm like, yes, he just wants one perfect Christmas. I want the family to get along. I want everyone to show up.
When he's up in the attic watching the movies, the home movies.
Yep.
If that doesn't hit you in the gut, I don't know what will.
He looks at the movies and they're from his own childhood, from either 1955 or 1959, depending on I think it just makes you get a little misty right there. It's just it's then the music that's playing.
So when the house finally lights up, and the old grandma play ball.
Play ball. And then when they said the Christmas prayer and she started, I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Yeah.
And then Cousin Eddie shoots up and stands up and crosses. Yeah, we basically imitated that scene also on Christmas Eve. Like my wife goes, I'll start. And then she said that. And it was hilarious. We're like, it's like, that's what's good about a movie, right? Like you watch it and then you can recreate it with your family or your friends and you have that shorthand in between, if you guys have both seen the movie.
Kids, I heard Santa Claus his sleigh was sighted overhead. It's on its way here. You serious, Clark?
Oh, and then
Randy Quaid, before he went crazy, him playing crazy was so good. And they didn't put him in the second one, but they put him in the very first Vacation, and he was just awesome even back then. But then Christmas Vacation, man, they were so good and so believable in their parts.
I know. And then there's part of me that's like, gosh, I wonder if I come across like I'm Cousin Eddie, like to my, you know what I mean? Like with different family members and stuff, like, I'm kind of like the oddball. And
well, I'm sure everyone is that for somebody,
exactly. I'm Cousin Mike Black. Yeah.
I think everyone is a little bit annoying to somebody during the holidays, but also they're like Santa Claus to someone else,
Right.
And every once in a while it's both. You can be an annoying Santa Claus, But yeah, I don't stress out about that too much about, who's happy to see me and who isn't. I'm happy to be there.
Exactly. Happy to be there.
And if they're going to stress out about that, that's their problem,
Right. Yeah, because you can't always be in your head. That's one thing I'll tell the podcast listeners and viewers. If you're, sometimes you can get in your head too much. You're like, how am I being perceived? And it doesn't go away. Sometimes I've thought that when I was in my teens, and I've thought it when I was in my 20s, my 30s, and you realize, like, it's like that old thing where when you learn this as you get older. I remember somebody had told me this, but I'd already heard it. But the thing about when you realize, like, who's thinking about you, then you realize later on, like, they're really not thinking about you. Even if it's for a quick second, that's about it. No one's like, diving deep into the world.
Not every time someone glances at you or makes eye contact necessarily means that they're thinking about you, good or bad.
Right. I remember, I remember one time when I went to, I had this realization back in the day when I went to Fresno Community College. Yeah. I walked into the library, and it's this huge library, and there's all these people in there. And I remember I was a little, not embarrassed, but shy, like, because you're the new kid in school. Like, I remember it was my first day of, at the university, but my first day there. And as I walked in, I realized, like, oh, wow, no one even cares. No one's looking at me. Like, no one.
Right.
And then that's when I got over it. I thought, if I stood in the doorway long enough, I'm sure people would look. But otherwise, they're not really looking. They're in their own world, especially now with phones. Yeah. Everyone's looking at their own phone.
Well, it's like the thing Martin Luther King said about hate. He goes, just how wasteful it is to hate somebody. He goes, because half the people you hate don't know, the other half don't care.
Right. It's like that other phrase too about like someone's renting space in your head and not paying rent, or something. Yeah. Or they're living in your head and not paying rent. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. I know what I was trying to say real quick about those binoculars. When I said, have you figured it out? Because I realized if I
still on the binoculars.
Yeah, if I zoom in at a faraway object and then it starts getting all shaky and wobbly, I realized the reason is because I had my arms flared out like chicken wings, and so I've learned to like brace my elbows up against my rib cage, and then it makes the binoculars more steady. Okay, this is boring. Nobody cares. All right. So.
I can't believe that you thought it.
Yeah.
Thought, I'm going to tell Mike, and Mike's going to be really interested in this. And then you must have thought at some point that must mean that once I tell him, the audience is going to be interested and want to hear more about how to brace your binoculars. Everyone knows that you don't flay your arms out like chicken wings with binoculars. People who've never used binoculars, you're going to have to account for the fact that you breathe when you use these binoculars. Yeah,
that's right, folks. Tell us what your binocular technique is.
Yeah, by all means. The comments have to be rushing in right now.
Oh, yeah.
Tons of people. What I like to do...
And what do you like to look at with binoculars? See, what I find is when something's far away with them binoculars, it's right there up in your face, man, up in your eye holes.
I like to stand up against a tree or a post of some kind. Every now and again, I'll use the vehicle. But you have to be careful because a lot of those safari vehicles get flat. And did the ghost of Andy Rooney just show up to tell us about binocular technique?
Oh, William Macy. By the way, William Macy was on a podcast, and I heard him tell a story. He said that he was in a nude play. It was called Oh, Calcutta. And I guess it was a 25-year run on Broadway. And he said that the Japanese tourists would sit in the front row, and you guessed it, they'd use binoculars.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "What? They would. You guys are nude?" And he goes, "Yeah, absolutely. They would like we're already naked, but we were putting ourselves out there." And then you had the Japanese tourists in the front row with their binoculars. This is back in the 70s.
I remember Anna Gasteyer from Saturday Night Live telling a story about how when she was with Groundlings, sometimes they have little sketch comedy groups within Groundlings that'll do shows, and so her and a few of her friends had a sketch comedy group. Let's call them the donut holes or something, But anyway, they do their show, and they're doing it for a while, and they're having a good time. But they noticed that the curtain call was always like the boring part of the show. It's we all come out and take a bow, just like every other show that's ever happened before or since. And so they're like, what if we go to blackout, bring back up the lights, we're all naked, and we all bow, and then the lights go back out immediately. And they're like, that's funny, that's really great. And so they go to do it, and they all get naked, and blackout, they get behind the curtain goes up, the lights come back on, and they take their bow, and the lights are still on, and the lights stay on, and they're naked, and they have comedy bodies, and they're just standing there naked for a long, disturbing time, and then finally the curtain slowly, it's like one of those old pulley system, sort of, slowly closes on their naked body, and they see all the parents and friends that they've, their eyes adjust, and so they're seeing everyone in the audience just horrified, just like, why are you doing this to us?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right, because it would be funny for a quick second, like a streaker, like, what the? They're naked, I can't believe it. And then it's just gone. But when it's like the heavy...
But when it's a long, slow, sad, demoralizing curtain close,
I got one for you. Here we go. Missouri woman wins $50,000 Powerball prize while buying mom's birthday card. So this lady, apparently she goes to get her mom a birthday card and or get a cake made, and while she's waiting around, she's like, "Oh, I'll buy a Powerball ticket." And she didn't realize that she won until later on that night. They were like, "And it was purchased at this store." And the store was called Schnucks. And she's like, "Sure enough, I went and checked my ticket. Wow." The player had discovered she had matched 4 of the 5 white ball numbers from the drawing, as well as the Powerball. She said she scanned the ticket with her phone and asked her son to double check to make sure she was reading it right.
Wow.
I know. I'm not one to... I was going to ask you about that. I don't really play lottery. I don't really gamble. I just figure our career is kind of a gamble, so I don't... You know what I mean? I'm like...
Waste all your luck on that?
Yeah, exactly. It's like... And the sadness that I feel from losing would probably out... Unless it was like 50,000 or above, but, have you ever won the Powerball?
No, I have not won the Powerball.
I wouldn't
be talking to you if I'd won the Powerball.
You'd be doing like Joe Rogan's podcast or Mark Maron, some bigger one. But
I'd have my own show. I wouldn't even have my own podcast.
Exactly.
I'd have my own actual show.
Yeah. And if I ever did get you as a guest, the stories would be, so I rented out the Genghis Cohen.
Right. Yeah.
And what did you do on? Did you see that movie? Oh yes, a man had COVID, but we still watched the movie because I rented out the movie theater.
I paid all of the actors to come in and act it out for me.
Exactly. Binoculars, Darren. Do you realize I now own the Hubble telescope?
Bruce Willis hand-fed me food from Genghis Khan while I watched Die Hard.
Yeah. Yeah, these stories would be a lot different. Yeah. I can't believe it. As I flew over Fresno, I saw my grandpappy's house. You're like, Darren, I have to go. I thought you were going to tell me about Kilimanjaro or something. But
Darren, I have a rotisserie chicken to attend to.
Exactly.
Being made by Wolfgang Puck, and then we're going to do cocaine together.
I want to see how good you are with your guessing of numbers. I'm thinking of a number. You're going to get 3 tries. All right. I'm thinking of a number between listeners. You do this as well. Okay. This is imaginary gambling. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Between 1 and 10. What is your guess?
I'm going to go off of what I know about you and guess 3.
You got it. You got it, buddy. I swear to God, you got it. I'm not even kidding. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. My wife guessed it. I tried this on my son, Austin, a.k.a. AusTheBassBoss, and he did not get it. He said 9. And I said no, and he said, then he goes 8. I said no, and then he goes 7. I go, no. It's 3.
We're not bidding, Austin.
Yeah. Okay, ready? Here, I'm going to try this one more time. I'm thinking of a number between 50 and 100.
This one's tougher. 64.
No.
Between 50 and 100?
Yes.
87.
No. Good guess though, but no. These are all good guesses, but no.
58.
No, the number is, are you ready? Drum roll. 75.
75.
My wife guessed it right away.
Is that when you plan on dying?
No. Ooh, damn, that was dark. Dark car. Dark car. No, I pictured it was like the easy. I'm like, well, if I want someone to guess it between 50 and 100, the easy guess would be 75. Although in some people's mind, they might go 69.
Right.
Yeah. But my wife guessed it right away. Boom. It was really cool. My wife guessed the first one. She guessed that one. Now let's see if you can guess this. This is the last one. Okay. Thinking of 3 colors. Go.
Blue.
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
White.
Yes, you got it. Red, white, blue. Yes. You guessed it. My wife guessed it. My son did not guess it. My son, he guessed blue, then he guessed red, and then he started going like off the rails. Purple.
Another shade of red.
Yellow. Oh, yeah, he guessed yellow because he goes, well, you always pick yellow when we play aggravation. I'm like, yeah, because, we discussed this earlier. Because now your marbles are red, even though red used to be my favorite colors because I'm a red, I'm a...
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I used to always, because I was a redhead, ginger, the whole red thing, and then... But, you become a father, and then your son takes away your favorite color, so that's...
It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, exactly. Little Mikey Jr. out there, Mikey Black Jr. one day will...
No, I probably not. I doubt it.
Probably not, yeah.
Yeah.
This is... yeah.
Pretty safe.
I'm pretty safe. Like I had my tubes tied or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I had my...
this is twice you've made me think of Naked Gun. The first one you were talking about binoculars, where they're in the crime lab. And they go, we found something very interesting here, Frank. Take a look. And he looks into the microscope and he goes, I don't see anything. And his partner goes, use your open eye, Frank. Oh.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
And the other one was when he breaks up with Priscilla Presley and they just had a big fight and he storms off and he stops about halfway through and he turns around. By the way, I faked every orgasm.
Oh, gosh.
She just looks really confused.
Man, Mike, I want to say thank you, dude. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And, I uploaded a couple over the holidays and it was really nice. Like Ottawa Talks, he writes, hey, I'm delivering tonight just like Santa. So he's out there. There's truckers, there's people driving around doing delivery jobs, and they love to listen to the podcast. So thank you guys for listening. And Mike, thank you.
Those guys are great. They're keeping us afloat right now.
Yeah, because they really are. Because sometimes you're like, you do these things and you see your peers like blowing up, and you're like, well, I'm going to keep it steady, just like that thing. They say the dripping of the water on a rock, which gives away first, the water or the rock, and eventually the rock will, but it may take 1,000 years, according to that Chinese proverb. But
you're saying that someone is waterboarding Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's cool.
We've been doing either we close the show usually with words of wisdom or, something that's made us happy this week. Sometimes I go, the happy 3, but off the top of my head, I want to say I'm happy that we, as a family, we have a place to get away from LA and just kind of, change the scenery and here up at the farm up near Fresno, I've been able to do a comedy show a couple days ago. I'm able to ride my bike up here. I'm able to see nature now even up closer with binoculars and spend family time and play board games, between Aggravation and Connect 4. So these are the things that have made me happy this week. And I'm happy to have an audience that actually listens to the show and checks out the stuff I do on YouTube. So that's what makes me happy. I'm happy to have good friends like Mike Black, who can do comedy shows with me, like we did in the People's Living Room. That was amazing. And of course, we'll both be back at the Comedy Store and beyond. But I'm happy to. I know I'm doing a little bit of a rant, but I'm happy to have a friend like Mike Black. Where afterwards we went to an old '50s style diner like Bob's Big Boy. I'm happy that those exist, and I'm happy that they're open. They weren't like, it's not closed like they were a year ago or
like
whatever.
It could have been.
Yeah, like closed either time wise or where we're sitting in a parking lot. I'm glad that we could go inside and
eating tacos in a parking lot.
Exactly, on the trunk of the car. Like, oh my gosh, I don't mind that too, but you don't really, you want to have other options. You want to be able to sit down.
Yeah.
By the way, the other night I was riding the bike and it was so cold. It was like 39 degrees. I checked the temperature, and that was when I was far away. And then when I got back to the farmhouse, it was probably like 37. And I was really thankful that day for, honest to God, just the simplest things like heat, because it was warm here, and it was dry because it was pouring rain. And I was like, man, I would hate to be outside right now in the pouring rain and the cold.
Yes. Yeah, that would be awful.
Yeah, that's the things that have made me happy this week. And Mike, if you have anything to add to that, please do.
All the stuff that you said. I'm happy that my folks are in good health and happy this holiday season. That my extended family is too.
Yeah.
And that the chosen family that you make out here, like your friends at the Comedy Store and other places. I'm just happy that everyone's that I know is doing pretty good overall.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You can't really ask for much more than that.
Yeah, and I'm happy to have friends like you that are so knowledgeable. When I can mention, Christmas vacation, you're like, yep, you got the tidbits of information, you know about it, and it's so cool, man. And I'm happy that movies like that have been made where we can go back and it's like a snapshot of time. And I think it was made in like 88 or 89, and it reminds me of that time period too. Just the suburbs and like the neighbors next door. Remember, like the yuppie couple next door?
Yeah.
Like my son's like, what? Yeah. He was like, what's a yuppie? And I'd explain, young urban professional.
It's hard to believe that that's Elaine from Seinfeld,
right?
Years before Seinfeld. That's how long ago that movie was made.
Gosh, you're right. Because you're right. Now that you said that, I remember thinking like I knew it was before Seinfeld, but I thought, oh, it's probably around the same time period. No, it was years before.
Yeah,
man,
we are old as hell, but in a good way.
We are, dude. Next time I see you at the Comedy Store, I'm gonna bring my binoculars. I'm gonna watch you through binoculars. Yeah,
it'll be worth it for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you those binoculars. You're gonna be like, oh, these are cool. Like, yeah. All right, my man. Thank you so much. And hey, happy New Year, happy 2022, and I'll see you next year. I'll see you next year, and we'll do. We'll get some New Year's resolutions going on the next episode. We'll figure out what we're going to do for the new year.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Happy New Year, buddy.
You got it, buddy. Thank you.
We're done with this interview.
Thank you, Mr. Mike Black, everyone. And thank you guys for listening and checking out the show and your support. If you want to support, I'm available on CAMEO. I do celebrity shout-outs. That's what CAMEO is, cameo.com/official Darren Carter. If you want to throw a couple of shekels, I'm on Venmo at Darren Carter Comic. I'm also on check out the Cash App, $ Darren Carter Comic, and PayPal, DarrenCarter.com. Thank you so much again for your healthy donation. I really do appreciate that, Peanut de Leon. And thank you, Oscar Felix, for hiring me on Cameo. And another person who hired me on Cameo, I forget his name, it's Todd. Thank you, Todd. Todd, thank you. We did 2 this week, and I put them both up on YouTube. That was pretty cool. I did it with my son, where he's playing in the background. I'm giving shout-outs. And one of them was starting a party for someone's New Year's Eve party, and the other one was for Oscar Felix's 15-year-old son. So that was really cool. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Again, thank you so much for starting that party in your ear holes. And as my boxing coach would say as we leave, he'd tell the pro boxers, all right now, don't hurt nobody. Don't hurt nobody. And then when I leave, be careful. So be careful and don't hurt nobody, including yourself. And send in your list of what makes you happy. All right, guys. Have a great day. Darren Carter, Party Starter, a.k.a. Dark Car. And we out.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.